Oh boy, baby. The Bolts. What a game. The Bolts have taken 3 in a row. Andrei Vasilevskiy is doing a repeat performance. We remember, again, this is exactly what happened against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They started off slow, then they picked it up, and it was on the back of Vasilevskiy and Kucherov. And I hate to say it, I've said it before, been on the ride, got the t-shirt, ate at the cafeteria. The Tampa Bay Lightning continue their run of dominance when it matters. And what makes the Tampa Bay Lightning so special? It's the fact they know how to adjust their game to win at all areas of the ice, and they have multiple ways to beat you. The New York Rangers were in this game. The New York Rangers didn't play a bad game. There was a scrum at the end of the game, started by Kucherov. And we're going to talk about all of it now. This was old school playoff hockey. This was defense first, clog up the neutral zone on both sides of the ice. The Rangers looked fast, so fast in the first period. They really looked like they were on their game. Both goaltenders were on their game, and it took heroics from players that were not superstars. This game was won in the trenches, and when you win games in the trenches, you score goals with players you don't expect to score goals. So it's Ryan Lindgren, it's Mikhail Sergachev, and it's Brandon Hagel. It is not the Stamkoses, it is not the Zibanejads, it's not the Kreiders, it's not the Kucherovs, it's the soldiers, it's the grunts that end up getting it done for both teams, and it's the goalies on both sides of the puck that are the real superstars of this game. The other things that were incredible in this game, it's the discipline and the little things that the Tampa Bay Lightning can do. Exhibit A, 0 counted penalty minutes, because you don't actually count 2 minutes for too many men as penalty minutes on the stat sheet. It's weird. So 0 penalty minutes by the team, 2 minutes for the coach. Corey Perry ends up serving it because he's a beauty and a team first guy. But when you go into a hostile MSG, and not that MSG is hostile or the fans are bad, they're wonderful. New York fans are some of the best in the world. But when you're the visiting team in MSG, yeah, it's a hostile environment in the sense that it feels like it's breathing down on you. The lights aren't the best. It's the most famous arena in the world, and you're playing the New York Rangers. Well, you beat them through veteran presence, and you beat them by not taking penalties. The Tampa Bay Lightning are known to be a dirty team when they need to be, and I don't say that knocking them. People take Bolts fans, don't look at me and go, he called their team dirty. They are, but that's what is required to win in the NHL. And I don't mean they're dirty in the sense that they're headhunting or looking for guys. They hold sticks, they hook, they cross-check at the end of games when they've already won it, and they stand on logos. They live rent-free in your head. If you don't like that term, why don't you go ahead and just use veteran presence, because that is the Bolts, and the veteran presence of the Bolts and the discipline of the Bolts completely keeps them out of the box for this game. That is a major storyline and stat. You are going to win a lot of games when you're not taking penalties. And props to the Rangers. They only took 4 minutes for penalties, but guess what? Both of them were hooking calls. I'm not saying a hooking call is the end of the world, but when it comes to being great, which the New York Rangers are, they are on the cusp of perfection, which the Bolts just may be. They may not be the Avs with only 2 losses. They may not be the juggernaut that is the Avs, but the Bolts always find a way. So this may not be the 2020 Bolts, which historically is, by all statistics, the best team Tampa Bay has ever iced, but this may be the smartest Bolts team. So they've gotten savvier, they've gotten wilier, and Cooper has gotten better as a coach. And I think it was on display today, and a great indicator of that is only 1 2-minute penalty for too many men. The next big storyline I noticed are the giveaways. When you think of giveaways and takeaways, it's interesting because to take away the puck, that means the puck was not initially on your stick. And when you gave away the puck, that means you were holding possession. So you take these stats with a grain of salt, but there was definitely a lot of Tampa Bay giveaways in the first period of this game. And there were a lot of New York Ranger takeaways in the first period of this game. The Rangers, for all intents and purposes, dominated. But because of Andrei Vasilevskiy, he stands on his head, stands on his shoulders, puts the team on his back, and he ends up getting them through it, and he gives his team a chance to win, and they end up coming back in the second and the third period on the back of Mikhail Sergachev. Unbelievable job by Sergachev. Don't worry, we'll get to him. But with a majority of those takeaways handling in the first, and the fact that it basically settled down to 3 after that, I think it was 12 in the first, 3 after that in the second and the third. Again, That goes to show you the adjustments that this veteran team can make, and the only way you can make adjustments like that and change your playing style. They can go from hyper offensive to hyper greasy, dirty, and aggressive, hitting and taking penalties to get in your head, to hyper disciplined. It's just incredible how many tricks in the bag this team has, and that comes from a team that really likes each other in the room, that really trusts each other, that really likes their coach and believes in what they are doing, and that is the Tampa Bay Lightning. When you make an adjustment like that, something is going on in your locker room, and this is the best team I may have ever seen in hockey at making on-the-fly adjustments in between the periods, during the game, and even game to game. You never know what Tampa Bay team you're going to get, but you know it is going to be a fight, and it is strategically hard to plan for when they can beat you so many different ways and dedicate to so many different ways of winning, especially mid-game change-ups. Now, I think the other thing that came back to bite the Rangers in the butt, if you will, in this game was the fact that they only went 8-8 and 9 in shots. This team, this Ranger team, is an excellent team. All, like, basically top to bottom. They have superstars where they need to have it. I called them pretenders going into it, but I think they've really shown how good they are. The reason I called them pretenders wasn't just for clicks and because it was funny and because I'm completely unfiltered, and that is me, but it was because of the fact that they don't generate enough shots 5-on-5. At the end of the day, we can talk about high danger chances. We can talk about quality of chance, but you need chances. You need shots on net to be able to win the game. And when you leave the game with only 25 shots on net at home, that is going to be very difficult to beat a goalie the quality of Andrei Vasilevskiy. So they've won 2 rounds with it, which is excellent. You got to remember, it was a backup and a third string. You can win with shot counts like that. It was as short as, oh boy, 3 videos ago that I was praising the Rangers to the ability to generate shots on net and now increase their Corsi, and it feels like they've almost reverted back to that low Corsi. They've become bogged up in the neutral zone. They're not getting pucks to the net, and they're not getting pucks on the net, and it is going to be very difficult to beat a goalie of that quality without it. So we're going to have to wait and see if the New York Rangers can come back and start getting more chances on net. But all in all, I thought the Rangers played really well today, other than the fact that they weren't able to generate enough shots. They started off quick. They were in the game the entire way through. I thought the first half of the game was all Rangers. The second half of the game was all Bolts. So it was a story of 2 different teams. The difference is that the Bolts can make better on-ice adjustments, better in-period adjustments, and they can change the looks they're giving you on the fly, whereas I feel the Rangers are set in certain systems, and that is okay. That is what happens when you're a young team, and they're a young team both in playoff experience and in age. And speaking of being a young team with lack of experience, this team here, Hot Garbage Sports, it's a team of 9,400 subscribers. Thank you for being here. We are young and we are immature when it comes to the YouTube space, but we're growing thanks to you. Go ahead down below, smash that subscribe button. Go ahead, give me the thumbs up so we can continue to grow. We can continue to get our playoff experience here with you along for the ride, helping us get there, giving us assists the entire way. And why not come ahead and join our Discord? It's fun. It's always popping off. There's great things going off in there. A lot of great channels, a lot of great guys and gals for you to meet and talk hockey with. And hey, also think about maybe giving us a super thanks down below. And if you're interested, we have an awesome members page where you can join the coach's staff like these beauties here. We have a ton of Ranger fans. We have a ton of Bolt fans. They are having a lot of fun with each other. The chat, incredible today. Maybe we'll see you on the coach's staff in the Discord or as a subscriber down below. Thanks for watching. Now let's talk about the kerfuffle, the scruffle, the fight at the end of the game. I think this is worth talking about because it is Kucherov that ends up throwing the first shot. Just a little bit of a cross check. I called him a wiener last video and I stand by it. Cooch is a wiener. If you're a Bolts fan, you love Cooch. If you're an outside observer of both these teams, not a fan that's emotionally invested, a la me, you're going to love Cooch. I mean, he has given you a lot of moments. He's hilarious. But if you don't like Cooch and you don't like the antics, hey, I don't blame you. I mean, the guy's an absolute beauty, from his press conferences to signing hats at $18 million over to winning a game and giving a little bit of a cross check. Even the way he skates when I take a look at Kucherov tells me this guy is going to be tough to play against, and he has been one of the best players in the playoffs for the Bolts, and he has lived free in the New York Rangers' head. So he may not score a ton of points this game like he did the game before, but he definitely gets in the head of the Rangers players, and he's going to take the young, unseasoned, we'll call it, team of the New York York Rangers, he's going to get under their skin, and maybe because the game ended this way, they are going to come out and take some penalties next game. So Cooch does things that entertains Cooch, but Cooch also does things that end up benefiting his team. And plays like this, as much as you may or may not like them, have been part of hockey for quite some time. So this kind of stuff, sometimes it backfires, it fires up the Rangers, and they come out and win. And other times it puts them in a corner and it lets them know, we're the Tampa Bay Lightning, baby, and we own you. It really is now going to depend on the Rangers' move next game, because the Bolts end up taking their logo at center ice and celebrating on it. That is some Terrell Owens stuff right there. That is something I'm not going to say you don't do, because the only thing you don't do is step on a locker room logo, but that is pretty gutsy move by the Bolts, and that is a team that is having a lot of fun, and that is a team that's got each other's backs, and that is a move that is going to have Ranger fans fired up. Let me know down below if you were fired up by any of that, Ranger fans. Let me know down below what you think about that, Bolts fans. Let me just know. And you know what? Comments, they help spread this video. So even if you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what you want to comment down below, leave your favorite emoji. It helps spread the love for this video, and I will definitely give you a big thumbs up back. Before we get into the goals, the last thing I want to talk about is Mikhail Sergachev. You guys have heard me say it. Sergachev, it feels like he's been in this league forever, but he's only 23 years old. You know, this guy has more playoff experience than guys like Mark Giordano. Mikhail Sergachev joined the NHL, got traded to the Bolts, and promptly just lived in the Stanley Cup Finals. This is a very young kid that is still developing. However, there are many times that Sergachev makes plays that just make me want to pull out my hair more than I already have as a coach. It becomes really exhausting at times watching Sergachev play. He's not the most physical guy. He makes bad reads on the puck at times. He pinches when he shouldn't pinch. He backs up when he shouldn't back up. But he has a lot of talent. The raw talent is there, and that's why he ends up being played, and that's why I end up pulling my hair out when I see players like this on my bench when I'm coaching, because you want them to be able to do certain things. You see the talent that they have. They just have to put it together. But I have to continue to remind myself he's only 23, and it takes sometimes till you're 25, 26 for a defenseman to really understand the nuances of the game, the brain part of the game. But I always look back and go, the NHL experience that he has should be moving him up that ladder faster. But this game, those goals, he was on fire, and he shows why he has to stay in the lineup, why he is the successor to Ryan McDonagh as McDonagh's going to move out, and why he's an important part to the Bolts. Bolts fans, let me know what you think of Sergachev down below. I was surprised to learn he was pretty polarizing amongst the fan base. Some love him, and some think he can go. It really depends where you're at, and I'm always curious to see where you're at, but I think he needs to stay on this blue line. I just hope that John Cooper and the team can continue progressing him forward, because today he was absolutely brilliant, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to break down all the goals right now, and two of those are Sergachev's. All right, so how does this goal start? It starts with a great chance in the zone by Tampa Bay. So Kucherov makes a nice play here, and then what I want you to take a look at is he's not shoulder checking, and we've talked about Kucherov shoulder checking many times. Usually he's looking left and right before he does something with it. You never just want to throw a blind pass out in front of the net. It's just not a good play. When they say when in doubt, put it on net, put it in front, absolutely not, because that ends up being a turnover. What Kucherov should have done there is carried the puck around the net. He should have kept it on his stick, got to this zone here, and continued to play. But because he ends up throwing it in front, take a look at what happens. Mikhail Sergachev is down here, and that puck is going to squirt out. And because Sergachev is down here, you're going to have a lot of room to be able to step up on the flat-footed defenseman at this point in time, because he's pressing for offense. And this really is a giveaway on Kucherov's part. Not the smartest play. The Rangers are off to the races after that turnover, and it's just a simple little poke around Mikhail Sergachev. And again, like, I was picking on him a bit, and I deserve picking on him now. I mean, all he has to do now is step up and angle him out properly. But one of the things that gets me about Mikhail is the fact that he's just so casual in his play. Like, when you take a look here, look, there's no hit. He's not running into him. There's absolutely nothing physical here. So this is what I mean by, like, I'm going bald just watching this, and I am already bald, is why wouldn't you lay the body on the player here? Okay, maybe it was interference, but it wasn't interference back here. When that puck was getting chipped around him, you had a race for the puck, so it was opened up. Okay, you're not going to go ahead and lay the bod. That's fine. The ref's looking. You don't want to take a penalty, but you can take 2 or 3 strides and step in front of him. You can do that. And Sergachev's not the most physical guy, so fine, don't take the interference call. Step in front and use good body angle. There's nothing wrong with stepping in front of a player as long as you don't stop. You have a right to the puck. And if not, all right, right? Zach Bogosain, he's got on the puck. Now you have to skate hard, 3 or 4 hard strides to the middle of the ice. There's so many options here that Sergachev could do that would be okay, but he just keeps gliding. Like, I don't know what he's doing. Look, he's looking back. He's kind of cruising. Not much is going on. That puck ends up going to the corner here. And then Sergachev casually gets in front. Now he's finally with his guy. And oh, look, the puck went in the back of the net. That's not on Sergachev. I'm just showing you what I was saying when, he got 2 points today. And I went like, things about Sergachev. But when we take a look at this one here, because the Bolts don't win the race to the puck here, like, let's just say Bogo's long in the tooth. He loses the race to the puck. And again, he could have got there. He's the better skater. He's the faster player. So he loses the race to the puck, and that puck ends up getting rimmed around the boards. We call this widening the zone. Of course, you want to widen the zone if you're the Rangers. And what that ends up doing is catching 3 Tampa Bay Lightning on one end of the ice. So this is a great offensive play here by the New York Rangers on the Lindgren goal. And then Lindgren's just going to step up and step in. So as the defenseman pinches, you can actually see you end up covering him here as a forward. The defenseman can't pinch if the forward isn't going to cover. So really nice job here by New York. This is really clinical in terms of how they widen the zone, on how they forechecked, on how they got around Sergachev. Lindgren picks up the puck, and it's just a simple little shot on net. I mean, there's nothing fancy here. That shouldn't beat Andrei Vasilevskiy. I don't think he was expecting the shot, and I don't think he's expecting a high shot here. No goalie is expecting a high shot from this area of the ice. They're expecting a shot that's low and on net, looking for a rebound, something like that. But this is just a snipe show from Lindgren and a great way to open up the scoring against an elite goalie like Vasilevskiy. But like, seriously, Sergachev, like, take an option, anything. You know what? Take a lap. It's fine. All right, we all know John Cooper's a pretty animated guy, so maybe he let Sergachev had it. Maybe he didn't. He knows how to coach. There's no question about it. But he keeps him out there with Victor Hedman. And then take a look at this. We saw this last game. Give ups up the middle. Why are you doing this, New York? Like, I don't understand. You're skating backwards and you're just giving the puck up the middle. And now you have a player who's sitting here who's going in the wrong direction. You have 2 players back here. You have to take a look. Giving the puck up the middle is never the way to go. All you need to do is shoulder check here. Just take a look around. You can see where all your players are. So they end up giving the puck up again. We saw that. Okay, it ends up sneaking through. Turns out he has a player there. Great. Excellent. But he's just putting the puck up the wall, and the player clearly isn't ready for it. What ends up happening? Hedman's going to pick it up. This is very similar to what happened with Jan Rutta, Ondrej Palat, and Nikita Kucherov last time when Kucherov shredded him for the breakaway goal. It's just a giveaway up the middle. You can't just throw blind passes where your player isn't going to be. Hedman does what's called a D-to-D regroup here, a neutral zone regroup. He ends up missing Sergachev with the pass, and the puck's going to end up entering the zone. But take a look at the fact that Sergachev here, he's a left-handed shot, and he's actually going to switch with Hedman, and we're going to find him all the way over on the right-hand side here. And that's very important because it's how we get a goal. That puck ends up going into the zone. It's what we call a soft dump in because it ends up going on one side into this corner. A wide dump in would end up wrapping around and you'd be looking to finish it up over here along top of the boards, or you have what's called a cross dump in where you actually cross it over the ice into where this ESPN zone is. So I bet you didn't think there was a science to how you put a puck into the zone, but there is. There's 3 different strategies to it. The Bolts end up getting on it. They lay a great hit on the puck here. Now you have great puck support here by New York, but this is what we call a 2-1-2. So you have 2 players down here, 2. Nick Paul here is number 1, and 2 is up here because it's your 2 defensemen. It's a very aggressive forecheck designed to turn the puck over. So because of the hit that is laid here, again, the Rangers end up wrapping the puck around the boards. You never want to do that. Don't just blind throw the puck from behind your head, behind your net, up the boards. That is just, it never works out. It really doesn't. It's a terrible play. It ends up going to the point here because you can see their winger can't get it. So it's 2 giveaways now because of blind throwaways. And look at this skill here of Mikhail Sergachev. He is already looking to cut to the middle of the ice. So we picked on him last play and we said there are reasons why he ends up pulling your hair out. And now we're going to talk about the reasons he gets to stay on the ice because he's such a beautiful player when it comes to skill. Look at how his stick is positioned here. Look at his confidence. This is just called puck confidence. It's puck confidence. It's feet confidence. We talk about moving your feet feet first, then your head, then your hands. Well, his feet are moving before he's even made a decision. He knows what he wants to do. That is beautiful footwork running across the line. Like, that is amazing. This is stuff, if you're a young defenseman, they practice over and over and over again. Walking the line, we call it. Now you can see part 2. So part 1 was right here. This was feet. Part 2 is right here. This is eyes. You're looking at what to do. And what does he see? He sees a cluster in front of the net and he goes, I'm going to put this puck low, hard, and on net, and I'm going to have an opportunity to score. And then he's going to do part 3, which is hands. He decides to make a shot. So he walks in, and here is an advantage when you talk about defensemen who are playing on their off wing. This is a left-handed shot on the right-hand side. Look where his stick is positioned. He actually gets center ice positioning. If he was a right-handed shot, he would have a less opportune chance to get to the net. So if you have a defenseman on your team complaining about not playing on their strong side, I've never understood it. I don't understand the left side, right side. A skilled defenseman should be able to play both sides, and you get an advantage and a disadvantage on either side you choose. So, I mean, there's good and there's bad. You should be able to play around it. Beautiful little shot here by Sergachev. Ends up beating Shesterkin. It has eyes. There's no question about it. We go back here and we're going to take a look at the screen. So the puck's at the top here. There's no way. Elite goalie's not going to see this. Doesn't matter how good you are. And remember, Shesterkin is only 6'1", and I say only in quotes, but he's not 6'3" like Vasilevskiy. You have that extra 2 inches, and what he's doing right now, you can see it. He's standing up tall. He's trying to look over the screen to find the puck because he can't look left or right. And because he's 6'1", not 6'3", not 6'5", he can't find the puck. Because he can't find the puck, it ends up going in the back of the net. That is why height matters for goaltenders. It is not just a big body to go down into your butterfly to take up more room right here. It is to be able to see over all of these guys up to the point, because if a goalie can see it, a goalie is going to stop it. Great goal by Sergachev. The New York Rangers on zone entry, and here is the brilliance of Andrei Vasilevskiy. So you have the bread man carrying the puck in down here. You're going to have a mid-lane drive, and unfortunately here, what's challenging is you have these guys on a plane that's actually backwards. You want to have this reversed. You want to have your mid-lane guy ahead of your wide slot guys, so you want to be going here low and slow to get to the top of the circle. You want to drive the mid lane, get in here. And if you're Panarin, you want to get to here and either pro curl and delay, or you want to put that puck on net and make a decision. Either way, though, it works out beautifully for the Rangers. So Panarin goes in, ends up leaving the shot. No one drives the mid lane, and this is the challenge when you don't drive the mid lane. Look at the gap. There's no gap. This is perfect gap by the Bolts. And yes, it feels nice to be able to say, I delayed, I got the puck, but there's nothing you can do with it. It's just unfortunate. You need someone driving the mid lane because that pushes the defenders back, and that gives you the gap to play with the puck in the offensive zone. So the Rangers don't get that because no one drives it. That's okay. Makes a beautiful regroup and says, all right, if you're not going to delay Panarin, I'll delay. Very, very smart play. That is a massive big brain play here offensively with this puck. And he's waiting. And now what you see is Ryan Lindgren cruising in. This is your fourth player, and he's going to end up sneaking to the back door. I love activating defensemen on this one. Really nice play. So instead of going ahead and putting the puck on net, and I mean, how good is Adam Fox? Like, seriously, this guy could easily play forward in the NHL. He'd be one of the best forwards in the NHL. He's already one of the best defensemen. And now look at the gap that the Tampa Bay Lightning have given him. That is a lot of gap. They've all backed up. They've crashed. They've gone to the front of the net, and they have to because there's 3 New York Rangers here. How many times have we shown in this entire playoffs, and we have covered a lot of goals in a lot of games, guys not covering like the Bolts do here. So we end up with a laydown. That's actually okay. I don't mind that laydown because at this point in time, you're just trying to block the shot. Lindgren ends up picking this puck up, and he's going to step out, but look at all this room. It is massive. You should be able to put this in the back of the net, but you can't because of the greatness that is the stretch Armstrong of Andrei Vasilevskiy. Those pads and the wingspan on the pads is massive. And Corey Perry ends up picking the puck up. The Bolts are out. There's a lot of great things going on in that clip, from what Adam Fox did to what Artemi Panarin did, to talking about the fact that they don't drive the mid lane, to the Bolts going towards the house, to the gap that you need to do, as well as to Andrei Vasilevskiy. That is just an amazing clip with a lot of great things, whether you're a forward, a defenseman, or a goalie defending or on offense, to learn this game. So at the start of the video, the website had this goal as Mikhail Sergachev's. As we are making this video, it has been changed to Ondrej Palat. Gotta love the NHL at times, but hey, it's the way we go. It's Palat's goal with Sergachev as the assist. But who ends up starting the play? It's 86. It's Nikita Kucherov. He ends up beating K'Andre Miller to this puck, and that is massive. He just outplays him here. And again, look, we're seeing just a slap of the puck away. Kucherov does get a stick on it, but when you end up flat-footed, that means not moving your feet like Miller did there, and then the puck ends up going through. That's not what you want. So you get a little bit of a fumbling puck, and I got to think that fumbling puck that just happened here was because Kuch ended up getting a stick on that puck. Now this is going to cause the turnover in favor for the Bolts. The New York Rangers are going to be smart here, and they get into proper defensive zone positioning. So I like where Trouba's here. He's doing well. He's containing. What is nice about this is you don't want to pressure. Remember, we talk about this. If you can see the logo right here, you contain. So really nice job here by Jacob Trouba. K'Andre Miller recovers beautifully, and he comes to the front post, and his skates are pointed forward. You always want to have your skates pointed forward. When you see defensemen with their skates pointed laterally, that is not ideal. You always want to have them pointed up ice. So it's little things like this that Miller does so well. So negative to a positive. And then what we're taking a look at is the fact that we have puck support here. So I like this. We have our winger on the wall, and he's not attached to the wall. He is actually right where he should be. And now we have our slot zone guy. This is perfect defensive zone positioning. There's nothing wrong with this. So you've cut the ice off into this area. But unfortunately, the goal of cutting the ice off into this area is to not let them lengthen or widen the ice. And that's exactly what they're about to do right now. They're about to lengthen and widen the ice, and that is going to blow up the defensive zone structure. So that puck ends up going to the top here. And now what you need to do is you need to have a shift. So you're going to go to the point, you're going to go to the point, you're going to go into the middle and puck support, you're going to bump to the right, and you're going to bump to the right. That's what you want to do if you're the Rangers here. But this widening of the zone that happens here to get the puck on the stick of Sergachev, it happens so quickly that there is not enough room here to close this gap. And that is why we talk about defenders want to play in tight boxes like this. Offense want to play in the entire zone. So one wants to lengthen and widen, one wants to tighten the box containing and then add pressure. Because they are unable to contain, Sergachev is going to put this puck on net. Quick little delay. I like it. He waits. This is so key of Sergachev here. He is waiting for his players to get in front of the net. He's not just putting an errant shot on the net. He is waiting. And take a look again. Left-handed shot, playing on the right-handed side. That's beautiful. It ends up allowing his stick to point to the middle. It lets you become more offensive in this scenario. So Sergachev ends up putting just a little wrister on net. Palat gets a piece of it because he waited for him, and it ends up going through. There is nothing more the New York Rangers could have done on this play from a defensive zone structure in order to keep this puck. It all comes back to down here where they needed to get on this loose puck. At the end of the day, they needed it. And this right here, to me, this is the problem. You need more puck support. So even though Miller maybe rushes the puck and Kucherov beats him, if you have puck support, which should be about right here, 2 feet away from the puck, now you're talking and now you're cooking with butter, as they say. But unfortunately, I just think the puck support is too far away to help Miller. And it's Kucherov and that little turnover here that end up getting them in trouble. But a really nice job of getting tight, getting together, and going ahead and blocking that mid zone. But what you have to observe now is that that puck is likely going up the wall. You want to switch your stick from one side to another. And you can see here, let me get rid of my purple. You want to go ahead and switch the stick from defending the middle to defending the wall. But that's a tough choice, because what do you end up doing if you do that? You leave this zone open. So no matter which way you go, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So you let that puck end up going to the top. You hold your position the best you can. You hope you can recover. You hope your goalie can make a save. But unfortunately on this one, Sergachev, just too skilled, just too smart this game. Really nice job by him. All right, so that's it. Those are the key topics of this game. There was a lot of defensive zone structure. It was very good on both sides of the puck. I thought both teams were extremely tight in the defensive zone. You had a nearly identical offensive zone possession for both teams, just over 11 minutes on both sides of the puck. You had goalies playing incredible. You had 12 high danger chances for the Bolts. You only had 5 for the Rangers. You had a hot start for the Rangers. You had a hot finish for the Bolts. The Rangers are going to have to dig down deep, use some motivation from that line cheering and that little brawl at the end of it, and find a way to win one on the road. They're going to have to do what they did in Carolina in Game 7, and that's beat a very good team at home so they can take it home back to MSG for Game 7. Of course, if they don't, and the Bolts take it at home, we will have a Bolts Avalanche final. So let's end up seeing what happens next game. Thanks for being here. Subscribe, join. We'll catch you in 2 days.